Very few people give a shit about Stoke who are listening, mate.
Oh, well, I know, yeah. I'm sure Sam will be
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
This is Don't Touch the Cat podcast, and today we have Danny Bowers on. Danny is the director of Tile Central and Midland Trade Tile Supply. He's a good person to have on. We're going to be discussing importing tiles, retail tile sales, distribution and sales to the trade, of which Danny does all of these things throughout the UK and Ireland. Hi, Danny.
How you doing?
How's it going, mate? So,
Let's do it.
we're in the same room. So me
Eye contact is important.
It's a rare thing to be in the same room for this. So me and Danny both are from Stoke, but don't really know each other.
No, we don't.
We'll find out in a minute where he grew up, and that'll probably explain everything.
Hopefully, yeah. You might not want to know, mate.
So you've got Tile Central, which is basically a tile shop in Trentham in Stoke.
Yeah.
You've got the other business, which is Midland Trade Tile Supply, which is, as I understand it, I'm sure I'll explain, is the trade side of the business.
Yeah.
And you also distribute to various other retailers through it. So if you just how does a lad from Stoke end up running this type of company? So is Trentham so your shop in Trentham, is that where you grew up?
No, I was born in the Newcastle area, so Thistlebury, so the other side of the city. It was my wife actually that brought me to Trentham, so she's a Trentham girl. She was went to Trentham High.
I'm going to interrupt you because that's exactly the same as me.
Oh,
my wife's
go,
Trentham as well.
There you go. So you understand what we have to go
Trentham
through.
women.
And then obviously the new unit on the trade park came up, was available, two and a half years ago. We needed to move at the time from where we were originally, Shelton New Road, which was the old Twyford factory. So there was a bit of history in the building where we were before, which was nice. But we needed to move. We needed to be taken a little bit more seriously, from people visiting. So, we took the trip to a new unit at Trentham Trade Park.
And that's a big old place. 'Cause I've been to both places, actually. So you went from... so just explain how it all came about. So the first place you were in...
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed watching you progress. So the first place you were in...
Yeah.
Which is... I think a lot of small businesses will have this a similar
Absolutely,
story.
Yeah. So, of course. Just
explain how all that came about. How did the business actually get going?
Yeah. Okay, so what it is it's actually the family. We've been in ceramics, believe it or not, for over 50 years as a family. It started from Leanne's granddad. He invented a slip-resistant product called the tortoise, which it was like an old slip resistant from many, many years ago. The tortoise test. Right. So
sorry, who's Leanne?
Leanne's my wife.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it was her granddad.
Oh, both sides.
Yeah. So they introduced a slip resistant test, and then we've also, as a family, got a raw materials factory in Malaysia. You've met Simon. So Simon owns a raw materials factory called Zircon Minerals Malaysia. So basically, they are at the very start of the production chain when it comes to tiles. To keep it quite basic and simple, Simon's got a factory in Malaysia. He imports certain minerals from different sands and different mines throughout the world. He then supplies tile factories all over the world. So the question was, how did we get started? Well, Simon was on my case for many years saying, Danny, come on, we need to do something in the UK. I've got the suppliers out here that I'm working with. There could be a real good connection in the UK for us. I'm doing the sourcing. Let's get something set up in the UK. So that's how it came about. I was offered the opportunity to work in Stoke as a director of Tile Central UK. Simon was doing all his bits at that end, so the two kind of work together. He's doing all the sourcing, he knows the factories, knows the quality and the machinery. and it was down to me now to, you know, do my bit in the UK with what we got behind us to get a tile business set up so that we could move forward with.
So Simon lives over there, obviously.
Yeah. Well, he's got a house in Oxford now. He's moved back because he's got kids in the UK going to university, but he's been in Asia for 25 years. So he's originally from Stoke. His job took him to Shanghai originally. Then he was working for someone and set his own raw materials factory up in Malaysia. He's doing really well, very successful, supplying 16 countries worldwide now. So if it wasn't really for Simon and the work that he's done, we probably wouldn't exist. So we were in a very privileged position to be able to work with factories that to this day we class as partners, not just we're taking a risk by buying tiles from a factory. He knows them personally as well.
Yeah, you can see how all that comes together though. So there's a history of tiles in the family.
Yeah.
Simon had his ceramics supplying not just tile factories, I presume, other types of ceramics.
Tableware, yeah, absolutely, yeah, everything, yeah.
So yeah, you can see where it all comes together.
Mm.
So then, the creation of Tile Central. When was that?
2014. I was a sales rep at the time, just selling heating and plumbing components. Kept putting off this move because I was comfortable in a job, getting looked after. I was always going to be in sales. That's when we started, 2014. So Simon had already got his contacts with a business partner in Malaysia that were already supplying a very well-known retail or company called Walls and Floors. So off the back of that, it was easy for me to jump in and say, we're in the UK now. We've already got...
How did that come about? How did supplying Walls and Floors come about?
So Simon was friends with a guy called Jude Fernandez in Malaysia who owned a tile business called Serasia at the time. Serasia were already supplying Walls and Floors direct, but there was more opportunity. So what we did off the back of that was I had a meeting with Walls and Floors. You're already dealing with Serasia. I know Jude personally. We're now based in the UK. From there, they were probably doing 2 or 3 lines, which we grew, to probably 7 or 8 within a year, just purely down to the fact that I was now in the UK on the floor. I could work with them. So although the product was still coming through Serasia, obviously it was linked with Tile Central as well. Cut a long story short, we don't deal with Serasia anymore. I haven't done with a few years. But that was the link that we already had in the UK, which enabled me to get in. And
that's when you went and found somewhere to stock everything?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
So then you could distribute around the UK yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the intention was never to actually hold that much stock at the start. I think if you remember when we had a meeting a few years back, it was mainly direct containers. We've got a small office. Simon was out there doing the sourcing, working with the factories. I was going up and down the country and meeting mainly the bigger distributors to offer containers direct at the right price. We've got the backing of the factories. That the production, it was safe. We were offering the safest route to market. We were covering any risk for any products coming from Asia. So that was what it was up and down the country. And then from Walls and Floors, it grew, and we were dealing with 7 or 8 different distributors. And then, which I'm sure we'll get onto, probably 4 or 5 years ago, things started to change with regards to people wanting to hold more stocks in the UK, less containers coming in direct. So we had to change the direction of how we worked as well.
Cool. So it was just you,
yeah,
and just Simon.
Yeah.
Simon was in Asia.
Yeah. You
were finding your feet in the UK.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you got your first office. So I'm trying to. I saw all this happen from a distance. So
yeah,
like I say, we had. I was working at Tile Giant at the time, but I'd been watching you years before that. A few years before that. Just explain how you ranged everything. Because I remember you used to bring in certain ranges, and then every now and again you'd grow a little bit.
Yeah.
Just explain how, because it's always a lot slower than what people would expect. So you were bringing in, I can't even, what was it? You had maybe 8 SKUs or something?
Absolutely, yeah. Off the back of us supplying certain distributors in the UK meant that we had to hold certain lines in stock as part of a deal. Could you keep backup stocks for us? 9 times out of 10, they weren't taking them backup stocks because the containers were flowing on time, which meant I'd got a bit of a headache. Well, hang on, at the time, it might have only been, 2 containers worth, 40 pallets, but if those 40 pallets, it was probably only 2 or 3 SKUs, different lines. So it was for me to find, whether it was developers, builders, anyone local, that I could move this stock to. So it was difficult, and obviously it's nice to see a warehouse with stock in, but then obviously it's frustrating when you've got stock sat there, but then when it's empty, you're moaning because you need more stocks in.
Yeah,
And then off the back of that, as we grew and started dealing with different distributors in the UK for different lines, meant us holding more stocks of the particular line they'd chosen, which was good for us again because we were adding another line in. And it kind of grew from that. It was very narrow. I mean, even now, we're not ridiculous hundreds and hundreds of lines. We try. Look, we can't offer everything to anyone. We know that, but what we do try and do is a good core range that the majority of people in the UK are buying at the minute.
Yeah. It's funny with stock in it. You get stock in. You're like, yeah, there's loads of stock in, and then you're stressed because you're like,
Absolutely,
I've got stock and I need to sell it. And then when somebody's buying the last of a particular SKU or range, you're like, I don't want them to, because then I'll be out of stock. And then you're like, I need to get back in stock again. It's just, it's a waves of like being happy, being stressed, having stock, not having stock, selling stuff, not selling. It's like, and it's your business. We've talked about this before. You're not getting a salary.
No.
So when you've got stock in, you're like, right, that's my money.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then when you sell some, you're like, that's also my money. Yeah. But now I need to buy some more stock.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit stressed because this guy's just put a big unusual order in, and I'm going to be out of stock. And you're like, it's like an emotional fucking roller coaster. Along with money.
It's business. It's business for you. And I've learned, bearing in mind I was very naive going into the situation in mid-20s. Simon was a very successful and still is a businessman that looked into things in more detail. I was a salesman at the end of the day, and I still see myself as more of a salesman. Accounts, spreadsheets. That's not my side of business. So I had to do a lot of learning, and on that side was this emotional roller coaster of cash flow, stocks. Being paid on time, not being able to pay your suppliers that then can't release the next container till you've paid them, which is going to delay a project. It's a constant battle. People have said business is a game, and it is. And it's as much as you want to do the right thing, it can be really tough at times. Which,
I bet you've learned a lot though from similar to me, really, from you being a sales guy. You now know, right? This is how I ship things from the Far East.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is what happens when it gets here.
Yeah.
All these weird costs that I never knew anything about
that have been thrown in more at the minute from these new ones they're making up every week. But you're right.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, you're right. You're learning. It's okay. I can bring a container of tiles in, so I'll get them delivered. It's not that easy. You've got to get your right port, and then if you don't get it cleared in time, you've got your charges for holding the stock at the warehouse, and then you send in a trailer who doesn't get his slot on time, so he pulls away, and then you get it is a battle, and I think it's a lot that when I speak to people on the Tyler's community page and they see you offering a product, and if there are delays on things, sometimes it's so difficult to try and explain what you've actually gone through.
Yeah, and you're competing with these big businesses who will have, like you called yourself a salesman. You're clearly not, because you have to deal with all that other shit.
Yeah.
So these bigger businesses that you're competing with, they've got professional departments.
Yeah.
Their only job is logistics. They don't have to worry about, is it selling? Is it not selling? Am I going to get paid?
Yeah.
Because they get a salary, they do logistics, they bring things in, they might never even see a tile.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're competing with these guys, and they're throwing hundreds of people at your... There's more than just you now, but it originally was just you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it's hard work. And then with regard to the range of tiles that you touched on before, I think it's dead right what you do. There's no point having, in my opinion, I know some of the bigger shops might disagree with me, there's no point having hundreds or thousands of ranges.
No.
It's arguable whether that works or not, in my opinion. And the big companies that do well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So clearly, my opinion must be wrong on this, but I will always argue with them. Well, what are you actually achieving? You keep releasing new ranges, but if the same few ranges. It's the same rule, the 80/20 rule. It might be different for you because you're running it so streamlined. But in these big businesses, the 20% of those ranges will be 80% of the sales.
Absolutely, yeah.
More or less all the time.
Yeah.
And it'll be some grey 30/60s, grey 60/60s. Some of the bigger tiles might be getting bigger.
61/20s,
whatever.
Very, yeah.
It's generally the core range.
Absolutely.
These grey tiles, and it's probably still the same now. You can keep releasing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
All these different new ranges.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of them will do well, some of them won't.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be your core range.
Absolutely.
And then it's like the lowest cost tile in that range.
Yeah.
It's no fucking secret.
Yeah.
It just always is the case for every big business.
Of course it is, yeah.
And they'll make money on some of the higher priced ranges and whatever, but it's always the core range and the trade.
Absolutely.
And that's why everybody is trying to get the trades business.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You don't make loads of margin on it.
Yeah.
But it's bread and butter daily.
Yeah.
They come in every day. They spend
That's
a lot
it.
of money.
Spot on.
Yeah, so range-wise, I agree. I think you do it right. I saw your original range, and I actually thought you did a good job. You didn't have a shop.
Yeah.
The way that you marketed, which is something I want to discuss with you, was actually, and it still is to some. I haven't seen many people doing it, to be honest. It was actually quite unique at the time.
Yeah.
So you were doing videos,
Yeah.
explaining to people this is who we are. This is this tile. These are the technical attributes of this tile.
Absolutely,
This is where we got it from. And you're explaining to people, and I think there's a lot of people in the business, and you're one of them. They do things slightly different. I spoke to one of them last week, Ross.
Yeah.
Totally different area of the industry to you, but he's an individual doing something that's different.
Yeah.
And I'm always drawn to those people that do something, and it's not like they're not changing the world, but they're doing something slightly differently to what the big boys might do.
Yeah.
And you were always that's what attracted me to get you in and speak to you like a good few years ago now, because you're willing, like you put your face out there,
Absolutely,
and you're willing to speak to people, and you're explaining to people, this is exactly what we do, this is exactly where we get it from. You can see my face.
Yeah.
You know who I am.
No hiding from anything. Yeah.
You can contact me whenever you want.
Yeah.
And I'll discuss it with you.
Yeah.
And you'll do it in public.
Yeah.
In private.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because you're not trying to trick anybody.
No, not
It's
at
like,
all.
look, this is how much it costs us to get it
Yeah.
here. It's hard. The prices are good. We know they are.
Yeah.
But it's not cheap shit, and this is why I'll explain
Yes.
it to you. So when you started doing those videos, so were you getting much traction from them? I think it was mainly aimed at the trade at the time, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was. I mean, the whole video thing to me came to me quite naturally, which I think was lucky to be in a position where, and we've touched on other things that outside of work, whether it's pin singing or whatever other things I've done, I've always been able to interact with people and get on with people, speaking face to face, and I've always felt that I've come across well to explain situations. And when I was sat there at the time and thought, I tell you what, people were asking the question, your tiles are cheap, why are they cheap? And I thought, I need to get out there, I need to show people what we've got behind us, how we work as a business on a video, to let people know, to see me direct. None of this emails and things are, in my opinion, are starting to disappear, and you weren't seeing a lot of people responding to emails.
Mate, but I would not use email anymore. I get them.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm either any instant messenger you want to message me on, generally WhatsApp, but I've got every single instant messenger going. If you email me, it's likely that I probably might not even. Yeah. I won't read it till later or tomorrow or whatever. Well, everything's instant.
Yeah. Well, this was it, and this is at the time. I thought I've got to do something different here. And then I started doing videos again. I wasn't nervous about doing them. Never had a script. I'd just kind of flow with what I was going to talk about, explaining the technical side of things to people, and trying to just be as open as I possibly can on a video. And from that, it was, I saw a video that Danny did. Oh, Danny did a video. I saw that video that you sent the other, and it started just going from there. And then I thought, we'll do one once a week, and not just the videos on the Facebook or the social media. It's when a developer gets in touch with you. Yeah, Danny, what have you got in stock? Yeah. A 30-second video whizzing around the showroom and explaining with a picture. People love it. I
can't believe nobody's tried to replicate it. I'm sure they haven't. I'm just not seeing it.
They could have done, mate.
But do you know what made me laugh when lockdown? because I was like, oh, this is what Danny's been training for.
Yeah.
Nobody can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And there's a guy there who's like pretty good at doing videos and showing you around and showing you the titles. You can still deliver titles. There's nothing stopping you. So it's like I'm really surprised nobody. I think in the end all the shops just opened, didn't they? There was a big.
Yeah.
They closed.
I don't think people knew what was the right thing to do at the time.
Well, I think they closed originally. I remember I was at Tall Giant when it happened. I remember saying to my boss, "Well, I think we should just close the shops."
Yeah.
The government wasn't giving any advice at the time.
Yeah.
But obviously the businesses were like, "Well, we need to stay open."
Yeah.
And in the end, they all closed. I think in the end,
Yeah.
and then eventually, because I don't think B&Q and that some of the big shops got the preferential treatment.
Yeah.
Like, they're essential. So then I think the TTA actually got involved with the government and said, right, if a DIY chain's essential.
Yeah, which was always going to happen, innit? Why can they do it and we can't? Absolutely.
Yeah, because they've got mates who sit closer to fucking government officials, that's why.
Yeah.
But so in the end, I just thought, this is brilliant. He's predicted the future.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I could.
I can't believe, I'm sure they do, but I can't believe no one actually took that a step further. Like, spent a bit more money on it. And I think what I see is they'd rather spend the money on. I'm talking out my arse here because I haven't worked in a bigger business for years now. It seems to me like they'd rather spend the money on celebrities.
Absolutely, yeah. I know exactly what you're saying.
Or influencers. Yeah. And I'm like, that's great, and it might get retail people to look. But like we've just said, retail isn't your bread and butter.
No.
It isn't.
No.
Trade is. So how are they appealing to people, really?
I don't know, and like I say, I think it's a change at the time, and I think it will. Social media is so strong now, isn't it? And you see all these TikToks and Instagrams and Facebooks. But again, I've had people in companies, quite big companies, in meetings that have gone, "Oh, such and such saw your video at the other end of the country," or I've had people send me their own video. What do you think of this, Dan? I'm thinking of starting to do it. So when you start getting videos like that off people, you think that's good because to me it comes so naturally. But to there's things I can't do. There's a lot of things I can't do.
Do you know what? Are you on any social media? Because I meant to ask you this. Like, TikTok is like fucking made for you.
Yeah.
Are you on it?
I was on TikTok, yeah. And there's a lot of people that have said, you could do it. And then I think what's happened, I've got a 20-month-old girl now. I think things changed in as much as time as I'd want to give to doing stuff like that. And I think I could. I just,
It's just easy, innit? Because like when I do these videos, I don't speak. I'm not public speaking. Believe it or not, I'm doing a podcast right now. It's not my thing really at all. So if I'm doing TikTok, it's usually a highly edited video. Cause that's what I enjoy, editing shit. You could literally just pick your phone up and say, right, listen, I've just had a thought.
Yeah.
And just put it on TikTok. And I think you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You speak well. You know what you're on about. You could literally just pick your phone up.
Yeah.
And give your thoughts.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, what if I did this?
Yeah.
You do it in the group and the tiling groups anyway. Because I do see sometimes you'll be saying, does anybody actually interested in us bringing this type of thing
Absolutely,
in?
yeah.
So you should just go on TikTok. What do you think?
Yeah.
You've got a wider audience then.
I think there's a lot of people that, they see me doing these videos and the tiles. There's a lot of people say to you, well, do you get nervous? And there's a lot of things I've done which we'll touch on in life that I've been thrown in the deep end or performing and doing stuff that I have been nervous about. But at the same time, it makes me feel good without sounding too cheesy, whether it's been singing or videoing. And I think if I've been lucky enough to have a gift to be able to do it, then I'm going to use it. I don't want to look back and think, well, I should have done that, I could have done that. And like I say, there's areas of my life that I'm not comfortable with things, but this comes naturally to me. So if I can do it and get the videos out there and interact with people and be open with people as well, I think it's important that, we're not perfect as a business. We're far from perfect, and I know that, but it amazes me how many messages I have in the week from tilers. Thanks, Dan. Tiles are great. Customers really happy. I don't post them things. I just say we've had great reviews.
My opinion on that is, it's brilliant that people are happy with what you're doing. But my opinion on that is, if a business delivers, they fucking should.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So But on the flip side of it, so you don't get loads of credit for it because you're just doing what you should
Yeah.
do. And if it stands out, that says a lot for other businesses,
Yeah.
to be honest. But the flip side of that is, so you're not asking for credit.
Yeah.
You don't blow your own trumpet online
Yeah.
for doing, basically.
Oh yeah, you don't post everything. Oh, this was amazing.
You do your best, and I know you're the same as me. Like if somebody places an order today, and it's getting on, and it's like desperate, I'll do everything possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you're not expecting any credit for it.
No.
It's just like a natural
Of course it is. Yeah.
thing. But like I say, the flip side of it is, if someone does have an issue,
Yeah.
don't go to fucking blowing that trumpet. Oh, I didn't get it. Because you don't know that 99% of the orders that do go out,
Yeah.
everyone's sending you messages saying,
Yeah.
cheers mate, I didn't really expect whatever, brilliant service. But you don't put it online, so then the one negative one comes out.
Yeah.
And there was one the other
There
week.
was the other week, and this is what I'm referring to.
And that's the one, and it's like
it's
165 comments. You're having to get involved to say, listen, it's not as bad as you're all making out.
Absolutely.
It's just, people need to remember it. You've got a good service that you should get a good service, is what I'm saying. I don't understand when businesses get praised for delivering a pallet. You should fucking deliver the pallet.
Yeah.
But also, don't go online. I'm not expecting you to praise it.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not expecting you to go fucking mental.
Yeah.
When something that
It hasn't
nobody
been
can do
delivered
anything
on time,
about.
or something's or 5 boxes on the pallet were wrong because they were packed there at the factory that I didn't know about it.
And with yourself, you like I said before, you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You own that business.
Yeah.
Somebody's bought some towels from a business, and the owner, you can ring the owner.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's like, why put it on social media?
Yeah.
You can ring the owner. He's there. He'll speak to you. And if they fucked up, I'm sure they will say,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, we fucked up.
We bullsed up there. It's like I've said, we're not perfect, and I never claim to be perfect. It's tough, We've got a small group of people. It's a family business. I'm a passionate person. Wear my heart on my sleeve when things go wrong. Always been the same. But sometimes there are things out of my control, and okay, you can say I'm sorry this, I'm sorry. It's just not good enough for some people, and I get that. I've been in there when I've ordered stuff for my own house, and I've gone mental because something's late. Is it? There's bigger things. The way I always look at things, there's bigger things and problems in life.
Do you know where I think that comes from? So generally the bigger businesses, you can't speak to the owner.
No.
So what you have to do is you have to fill a form in, or you can't get hold of anyone at all.
Yeah.
And you end up just giving up. And with those big businesses, the only way of getting anything out of them is really kick off.
Yeah.
And take it to the point where it does find someone seeing you.
Yeah,
and they say, oh, just pay him before we have to go to court.
Absolutely.
So I think what people have, with the smaller businesses, they kind of, they fast forward into that bit.
Yeah.
And saying, oh, and kicking off. But actually, you can speak to the fucking owner and he'll look at it for you.
They're always available. It's just whether they are willing to speak to someone, because it's not their job. They see it as not their job to deal with situations, whereas I'm the opposite. And the amount of times I'll say to someone, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry that you were let down personally. And what else can I do? I can try and correct it. I can try and put things in place, whether it's deliveries, whether it's us. We're always learning. As we grow, it gets tougher. But one thing I'll never do, ever, is shy away from something. I might miss a call, and someone will take it personally. Well, he never got back to me call. I've got a family at home. I've got other things going on. Or I sent him a message. It took him 2 days. I'll never shy away. You'll never not hear from me.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
It's hard, isn't it? You get so many messages.
But
I literally sometimes... I used to think people were full of shit when they said this. I miss a message.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it just gets buried in other messages. And it's like, I'm same as you. I'll even if I've missed it, I'll get back and say, oh, I missed your message last week. And
absolutely, yeah. No, you have to. It's like you say, and it's good to touch on that, because it's good to do the right things. There's always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be issues. It's just how we rectify it and how we move forward and get on with it.
Yeah. So your video thing, if people want to see them, by the way, they're actually, where are they? Because they're not really on social media. They're on Facebook, your group.
Yeah, they're on our group. We post a lot on Tyler's community.
You'll see them in Tyler's community.
Yeah, if there's updates or a new range that I need to bring in, or if someone, what I have is a lot of people will ask me the same question over a week, and it'll be, what are you delivering? And that's when I think I need to do a video on this, because a lot of people, or Why don't you do a 120 by 120? Why don't you import that? Because we're not getting asked enough to warrant for me to bring that in on a container for it to sit. You know what I mean? And then
dead stock.
It's explained to people sometimes why.
Well, the other thing is, you've said it before. You're not going to have everything.
No.
Why would you?
No, absolutely not.
It's impossible.
I think if we can get, you look at a bathroom now, and the other thing we've never done a lot of is like mosaics or your split face to go with it. But what I say to people is, if you're taking 25 square metres for bathroom walls and you need 4 square metres of a split face, and I've just quoted you the price you've got on your main area, which has just saved you, or you're adding on, or saving your customer, or you're making a bit, just send them to a retail to get those 4 square metres. Take that tile and match it, because we've done it
Fucking
before.
hell, mate, 4 square metres of split face is going to cost more than 20 square
Exactly.
metres.
But you know what I mean, though? I mean, we've done
Crazy.
it before. We've brought stuff in split face, and it took us 6 months to clear 2 designs because it was a 2 square metre feature. We're about, if we can supply that main area at the right price, we're not going to be able to do everything. Just go and get a little bit, and I'll always tell people that.
Yeah, there's specialists and there's agents that specialise in shipping that stuff.
Yeah,
and it's,
absolutely.
And it's not you and it's not me, and that's why they're specialists, because that's their thing.
Of course they are.
Yeah, so the videos, you touched on it. Why are you comfortable doing videos? I know why you're going to, but through your singing.
Yeah,
just tell people about it.
From a young age, I've always sang. This is outside of work, and many years ago was in a band that travelled the country, played at the O2 in Birmingham, played at different venues, headlined. And from singing in originals band to then going on to doing covers bands to getting involved with stuff that I never thought I would do. Last weekend I was on TV for the bare knuckle boxing, which I've now been signed in a contract. Pay-per-view. I do.
Tell people how to watch it.
Oh yeah, so you can go on it's on the MMA fighting website. So
bare knuckle boxing.
It's brutal, and it's one of them when you're in the ring. These guys are nuts, but again, presenting the night, being the main host of an evening, it's something that I enjoy. I do comparing with famous footballers. I've done John Hartson, Liam McCarry, John Parkin. I do that on the side, and it's just kind of taken me into areas that I love football, I love sport, and I love doing that. And to be able to link that side with work on the videos has been something I've really enjoyed.
That's what I was after. So when people see Danny present, you basically are you're good at it. You're talking to camera. He's not doing it like he's good at it because he's got these skills. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but people might look at it and say, "Why does this fucking guy who's got a towel shop keep talking to camera?" Because he's good at it, and what he's doing is he's using his skills in another area.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I can't believe no one's ever tried to copy off it, because I've not seen anyone try to copy off it, because I think you must know this, and it can definitely be taken to another level. That could, because I always say this to my missus. She buys lots of clothes online, and she hasn't gone to a clothes shop in years.
Yeah.
This is related.
You
I promise.
Start modelling dresses, do you?
No, it's related, honestly. So I always say to her, "What's the best website that you use?" And she used to say like ASOS or whatever. And I would look at them. I don't think anybody's actually nailed fashion shopping online yet.
Yeah.
And when they do, I don't know what it'll be. If I knew what the answer was, I'd be a fucking millionaire, billionaire.
A guy stood there in an outfit talking about what he's wearing and how it fits and how he feels. And
I think that's
going to
be
kind of
So, and I think retail in general might go that way, and it'll be videos, virtual reality, even.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can't believe none of the bigger companies aren't. Like, they still need a shop, so that there's still a lot of the big companies are still making fucking really nice experiences especially for retail customers to walk around, but they can't all go there. So I definitely think presenting your shop, or they might end up just doing VR and saying walk around the shop. Yeah. But I think with someone explaining to them the way that you do, and I can't believe no one's ever tried to copy off it. This tile is quality because it's really difficult to get across to a retail customer, especially. Yeah. I've had loads of discussions about it. How do we get across that tile's 40 quid a square metre, but it looks like the one that's 15 quid a square metre in wherever? And we used to say, let's just explain to them that how it's made. And as soon as you get into how it's made, the body, the retail
Absolutely.
customers couldn't give a shit.
They don't, absolutely don't. Double charge rectified, they don't know, they don't care. But I still explain this for a reason, whether it's someone walking into the store locally, or what do you mean? And as soon as you explain, oh, we've been to such and such, and no one's ever told us this, I want them to know, because there's no way I'm going to get that on site, and then their tiler rings and says, the tiles are all over the place, they're different sizes, and I go, because they're not rectified. You never told me that. It's just giving people, what is it, 5 seconds to explain what it is, whether they care or not. I've told them.
And the thing is, loads of tiles get sold online, shitloads, and it grows all the time. And there's some online retailers that don't even have a physical shop. But you could create your own physical shop, whether it's within your warehouse or something that's actually, you can look at it and you can walk around virtually and explain to people. And they might not, you could stop somewhere and say, oh, I like these ones. And then through the brief explanation, you can say, listen, you're going to make your tiler's life a lot easier because of blah, 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 blah. And he might complain at you, but, I can't believe no one's tried to do it. I see virtual, what is it? Not virtual reality, augmented reality kind of coming in, where you can take a picture of your own bathroom and all that stuff. But they're actually engaging and explaining to customers. It's definitely the next thing.
I think for 2 points I'd put my spin on that. Number one, you ask someone how much they would charge to bring in a camera and do a video for you. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. It's ridiculous. I've done voiceovers for friends in business, doing different accents or doing stupid things for companies, and said, get me a pint when you see me. But they've been quoted £1,000 by someone to come in and do it.
It's expensive.
And the other thing is, I personally think anyone's capable. I think you, Satty, are capable of doing it. But what happens is, the way you talk to me now without a camera, as soon as there's a camera next to you, everybody change. A lot of people change. They feel like, what's this?
It happens to me on this. So my goal with this is to just try and get talking as you would talk, as well as you can. It would never be exactly the same as in the pub or whatever. But it's happened to me on this before. I'll be speaking to somebody, because we're only in the house. We don't have a studio. It's not obviously professional or that professional looking. So I can't remember which one I was talking to somebody, and then one of the kids would make a noise, and it completely puts me off. And then you're nervous again.
But then again, you're doing a podcast, aren't you? That's my kids in the background. People like to hear that.
No, I cut it out. I edit it out. It needs to sound fresh.
Enough.
But you're right. And I don't think anybody can do it, because I've been there. And you're right. As soon as there's a camera in your face, you know that you need to say hello, and today the weather is fucking rain. As soon as the camera's in your face, you forget all that.
People are not concentrating on what they're saying; they're concentrating on what's in front of them. Absolutely.
So, but the cost is ridiculous. I know it is, because I've had quotes to get videos made myself, and even for a simple video, you're talking $3,000 to $5,000, and then even more if you want it. But some of these companies, and I won't mention the names, they spend so much money on photography, trademarking, fucking talent, and this is why it contributes to why the tiles cost more than somewhere like yourself. They've got the money. If they diverted that money from, they'll get every range professionally photographed. They cost a fortune, but they could divert that to, we're going to do something online that people can experience without actually coming to our store. I personally think that's, especially for tiles. Come on, there's always an argument, and it'll be a forever argument with tiles. Some people are okay buying it online, but some people say, no, I need to see it and touch it, and I need to touch it and feel it and all the rest of it. If you can get as close to that experience as possible online, you don't really need 300 shops or 500 shops. You might have a super showroom in every region. I won't name any big names, but some of them kind of do that now already. They've got one big, huge, really fancy showroom in Birmingham, and then another one up north. But if you can create an online experience of those shops, you're laughing. And I don't mean a fucking video following someone around that makes you feel sick. I don't really know what I mean, because I'm not capable of doing it, but there'll be some clever, technical, creative people out there who could figure out how to do it virtual reality or walking around the shop. If you want the information, it's not a case of reading this tile was made here, and this is the thing.
yeah.
It's a guy explaining to you like yourself.
Yeah.
This is why it's good for this area, and this is why your tradesmen will thank you for buying this tile. Because a lot of time people don't know. They see a grey stone effect tile and buy it.
Yeah.
And there's, in some ways it's still a bit old fashioned in that way. The whole industry is, because you could if you wanted to, if you were cynical, you could say just get the cheapest fucking 3060 possible that looks like that one that sells loads in that big retailer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, they can buy it anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares if the traders don't like it? Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. It's no, you're spot on. You're spot on in what you're saying. There's just, like you say, there's different ways of, we at the time, I didn't want to throw the amount of money that I would have to cost to get, videos and photographs done, and Facebook, okay, we do sponsored ads, but it's free. If I've got the opportunity to do videos on a new trade page that I'm getting out there, I'm doing it.
Have you noticed on Facebook though? Because I've got pages and trade groups of my own. They know now. It's too clever. So if you put a video out, I'm sure you could get a lot of people to view it. And I know some of the tiling groups, really sound admins will let you do it because they know you support the group or whatever. But if it's your own page in your own group, Facebook knows, and it doesn't let many people see it.
No,
because it wants you to pay, and it's in your own group.
It's funny because I did one the other week. Obviously, we've got Tile Central, Midland Trade. The company is Tile Central. I set the trade page up, being quite clever and thinking I need to give these guys support, whether it's developers, builders, shops, so they feel like they're being looked after. They're getting better prices. We can discuss things on there. I did one the other week on Tile Central, which is more aimed at the retail people coming in. Paid, I don't know what it was, 15,000 views in 3 days.
Yeah.
Then you look at, okay, the tilers community is aimed at a smaller, I get that, but it just goes to show, because you've paid for that, bang, we'll get this everywhere for you. If I'd have just done that without the sponsor, I'd have probably got 1,000, 1.5, I don't know.
That's what I said on Sam's episode. So these tiling groups, they've literally got 4,000, very strict entry policy. So there's 4,000. Most of those people will be traders who spend money on stuff.
Yeah.
So to be in that group as a big retailer or a big brand, very fucking lucrative. If you asked Facebook to do that, please target 4,000 people who are definitely tilers.
Yeah.
I bet they could do it, but they'd charge you a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's not cheap, but it works.
Yeah.
It definitely works as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good one to go on to. So your tiles and your prices.
Yeah.
And I know you've explained it a million times.
Yeah.
So just explain it again.
Okay.
Because I know what the reasons and all the quality and everything else behind it. But just to explain to people that the quality that you buy, and then why the price. Because believe, and you know this as well as I do with tiles. Sometimes, if it's not cheaper, but if it's lower cost, some people might look at it and think, "Oh, I might go." It's almost like they want to spend more money.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. It's like the lower quality but higher priced tile actually sells more.
It does, yeah.
It's weird.
I've said this many times when people come into our showroom. We've got it's designed well. The majority of the space in our place is the warehouse space for the pallets. Obviously, we can present a 6120 on a wall, just one tile, but I've got the images to follow that up. Do we need to do fancy bays and bring in a tile that we could pay €4 from, put it on at £50 a square metre because the bay looks fantastic, which does draw the retail market to it? I've seen it, and I'm not going to mention local distributors where people have gone to see them, said, oh, it looked fantastic, and we saw it there, got it home, tile was awful, different sizes, different shading, because they've bought it from that display, and I get that, that's how we do things differently. We've got a few bays in there, but what I like to do with the videos is show people the quality of the tile, show them the projects that they've been fitted in, and like you say, explain why we've got so much confidence in the tile because of the background of what we've got behind us, again with Simon, with the family having the raw materials factory in Malaysia. He knows who we're dealing with, he knows the machinery, the Italian manufacturing equipment that's being used in India, being used in Malaysia, being used in Vietnam, is the same machinery that's producing tiles in Europe. So trying to explain that point to people as to why when we bring this stuff in, we've got so much confidence is because we've got great support out there. We're not taking a risk with a factory that, we've met someone, he's going to give us some end-of-line stuff. But we know these guys, and we've got such a strong relationship that if things did go wrong, the backing's there, the support's there. It's happened on a couple of occasions. Firing process, where a kitchen was fitted, paid, done, replaced, paid out for everything, because it was just something during the firing process that they weren't aware of when they'd been packed. So because of this, because we import direct to ourselves, we get great support on the price because Simon's supplying them the raw materials to make the tiles with. We're in a big chain, a big group. If Simon supplies the raw materials, we buy back from that factory. They need the raw materials at a good price, or we can negotiate the price of the tiles then. So they come direct into us. We're not, we're a small group. We haven't got massive overheads. We've not got 20 warehouses and showrooms throughout the country. So it enables us to work with people, giving them the best price that works for us, that gives us enough to keep moving forward, but keeping people, wanting these tradesmen to come back and developers to tell his mate that's doing a new build. Or...
You're also, you do keep it streamlined, I know, but you don't, like I said before, some of these companies, they'll spend on trademarking every single name of every single tile. They get professional photography done of every single tile. They've got fancy adverts, and it works for them. I'm not saying any of that's wrong, it works for them, but for the smaller businesses, and I'll always try and use the smaller businesses, me personally, they concentrate on the things that are the important things, and I'm sure the big businesses do as well. Quality of the tiles, communication with the customer, support, after support, and all these things. And you're not wasting money on we need to make this much money because we've thrown this much money at that famous person last month, and it's like, there's no need for it. I'm sure it works for them. I'm sure it does.
Like I say, I get questions all the time, or why is it so cheap? And I think that was the important point to get across on the videos of what we've got behind us that people don't see. Some people probably just looked at it and thought, look at this joker here. He's got a bloody warehouse in Stoke. He's buying in some end-of-line shit from somewhere, importing it.
Talking to the camera.
Who does it think it is? Exactly, and trying to fool us all. So the more questions I was getting asked, I felt it personally that we needed to get the point across of it's not just me there. What we've got behind us and the support, and it was important to let people know from the off. And that's why the tiles are that price, and that's why we can bring things in and then work with people to get the price at the right, for where, their budget and where they need to be.
It's crazy, mate. So some of the stuff, I won't compare anything directly, but let's say something that's maybe 40 quid at your place, it might be fucking 80, double or more.
Absolutely, yeah.
No matter what the argument is, I can't see how that can be the case.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the argument? Oh, he must be buying shit from somewhere. It's like, even if he is, why is it so much more?
Yeah.
And he's not.
No.
Do you know what I mean? There's no argument for it.
No, the thing is, I understand why retail prices are how they are. I understand, these bigger boys that, we're nowhere near, absolutely nowhere near, probably never will be anywhere near them. I know that. But, you see a tile in there, and it's like when you're in that industry and it's like me going to buy a car. I haven't got a clue. I can't even lift a bonnet up. That's how bad I am. But when I see a car at that price and a car at that price, someone could go, that one you're looking at that's 100 grand, that one that you're looking at that's 20 grand. And when they actually explain the differences to me, I'm like, seriously? But because I know, and when I go to retail stores on my day off, I'm not that sad. I don't just go there all the time. And I look at a rectified ceramic wall tile and the cost of it, and I don't know. It's just, I want to do everything I can to support people, especially when you're seeing an old couple going in and like they were $79.99. Oh, he's just knocked me £5 off. Because you're there and
the huge businesses, mate. I want to get him on because I'd love to speak to him.
Yeah.
Just not just say, "Oh, why are your prices so expensive?" Because they're not. They've got cheap stuff as well. They don't just rip everybody off all the time.
No, definitely.
But they do have loads of overheads that are like costs that smaller businesses never have to worry about, like employing
definitely.
Someone who used to be in Girls Aloud.
Yeah, no,
Do you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
To say, look, go and point at that paint for us.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just a crazy costs employing people and spending on marketing. Like I said before, the trademarking of all the names, adverts, photography, and they have to get it back.
Yeah.
And that's why.
The thing is, though, there's always going to be people that haven't got to worry about budget, don't care. They can walk in a shop, £80. I've seen it in Battersea in a showroom down there, a company that we used to work with, where a guy pulled up in a Rolls Royce, got dropped off, walked around, pointed at a tile, 129.99 square metre, walked out, gone. There's always going to be, it doesn't matter. But the way things are, I see now in everyday life, with things how they are at the minute, it's not just your retail people, it's the guys doing the builds now that are being stung on materials that need to make a cost saving. There's guys importing that, you know, have got to get that project that need to make a cost saving. Mr. and Mrs. Jones have just had to spend double what they thought on a kitchen, so they need to make. So if we're known as that value engineered company, I don't mind go to Danny, he can give you cheaper tiles. I don't mind that. I don't mind being known as the guys that are going to, you know, do your cheaper. In the word cheap always makes you sound.
I don't. I try not to use cheap.
But you know what I mean. But people always will. Why are your tiles so cheap? Why are they cheaper? Yeah. You're never going to get away from that. But trying to explain to someone that what I've just put in front of you is exactly the technical spec of what you've just seen there, then the more you can try and educate and work with people, then hopefully it'll help.
Yeah, marketing does work. Some people will pay more because they want to.
Yeah.
It's weird. I've seen it happen on one particular tile when I was at Tile Giant. We experimented with all sorts of prices on it to try and say, right, if we display it differently, if we cost it differently, can we increase the sales? Yeah. And is it a good range or not? And it actually sold way more when it was higher priced.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
There's no explaining that one. When it was, I can't remember the exact prices, but when it was 40 quid a square metre, it sold way more than when it was 30.
Yeah.
Strange. You would think it was the other way around.
Yeah, it's some things you just can't explain. And
no, it's unexplainable. Yeah. It's a weird one. I don't know. I think it might have. I don't know. It's a hard one to explain. So, customers-wise, everything we've just talked about. Who are your main customers?
To be fair, at the minute we're doing. I'd probably say 80% of our sales now are mainly through social media, through the trade page, working with developers or builders or the tilers themselves.
Yeah. So say that again, because this is where I can't believe the bigger customers haven't cottoned on. And I think not the bigger customers, the bigger brands and the bigger retailers haven't cottoned on to this. I'm sure they have, but they just can't do it.
Yeah.
80% of your sales
through
social media.
Yeah.
So,
without
and
a doubt,
so your videos. This is what I'm saying. I can't believe the bigger retailers haven't clicked and thought, oh, we should look after these groups the same way as these smaller companies are.
Absolutely. It is mind-boggling, and I totally agree with you. And it's surprising how many. I had a meeting last week with two guys from Stockport building 11 new builds. A mate of mine showed me your video and how you work. I thought we'd come down and see you. That's it. You know, I've not had to spend a week on the road trying to find developers or get an email back from a guy who's running the project. Times are changing. Yeah. And Simon, funnily enough, I have this argument with Simon. He's more old school. Danny, you need to be out on the road still. And I get there is an element of that where if you're meeting with a distributor face to face. But what I'm doing on there is getting into a developer who's then telling his mate, get on that page or go and speak to Danny. He'll send you a video. Done. Yeah. Things are changing.
And that's why I meant you're right, and it'll change to something else, and it'll be virtual reality. I'm telling you, you'll have virtual reality meetings, and it's the same as what I said earlier. I rarely look at emails. Yeah, and it's not the same level, but that's the way things, and it takes so long for old ways to be let go. An email versus WhatsApp. Yeah, there's no competition.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can send all the same information. WhatsApp is an email. But for some reason, especially when I'm dealing with companies, they want to email you everything. I'm like, you've got a much better chance of getting me if you ring
100%,
me or WhatsApp me.
WhatsApp at the minute.
Or any. There's privacy things that people worry about, so I've got all of them. Just text me on anything you want. But an email, even though it comes to my phone as well, it's just more cumbersome to look at.
Absolutely. I think people as well are getting that much rubbish and junk. I wake up every morning, and I'm not exaggerating now, to 15 WhatsApps. Hello, Mr. Danny. I'm a tile producer in India. I wake up to 15 of them. Emails, junk, such and such ceramic I want to meet. I'm at the show in Italy.
Information overload.
So I think you get sick of seeing the junk on emails. That you don't tend to look at it that much because you end up scrolling through and go, oh, I missed that one.
No, do you want me to tell you what it is? It's only my opinion. I might be talking at my horse. An email is that few seconds longer to get your head around. And an email even, you might wait till you're on your laptop as well, which might never happen.
True, yeah.
But on your phone, and people might argue with me and say, well, because WhatsApp is email, it's all the same fucking thing, but it's instant.
Yeah.
It's easy to reply to. You can send whatever files you want on it.
Yeah.
I personally think email will stop being used altogether at some point, or merge with, turn into something else. And that's the same as what you were saying there.
Well, that's it.
Things change. Yeah. Things need to be faster.
Yeah.
You can't travel around the country. It's expensive to have. Imagine if you had 5 reps.
Yeah.
They've all got to earn 100 grand just to pay for themselves.
It is.
So they need to do a lot of driving, a lot of talking.
You're right. And like you say, it was trying to, and I think Simon actually, when he started to watch the trade page, he said, I get what you're doing now. Because he was, you've got to think even only, 7 years ago when I was getting up and down the country and trying to meet with people haven't got the time to walk in on a cold call on the trade counter and go, can I speak to the manager, please? Yeah, he's in the back, he's just meeting with someone. I'm not going to stand around for an hour and a half and wait for him to finish that meeting. So, can I send sending a WhatsApp or doing a video, and off the back of that, I've seen your video, can you come and see us? It works, it gets people's attention quicker.
Yeah. Fast forwards everything.
Absolutely.
That's and I don't know how old Simon is, but that's the old. It's really difficult to get old. This is what I mean. I'm always attracted to people who are doing. And it's not like I say, you're not changing the world.
No.
But people who are doing something slightly differently or slightly innovative or anything, products, processes, the way things are done. I'm always drawn to them.
Yeah.
Same as like Ross with his academy.
Absolutely.
He's not changing the world.
Yeah.
But he's like. It's different.
You're trying to think outside the box.
But to get people to shake the old ways.
Absolutely, and it's
painful.
It's got to happen. It's not just tiles, it's in everyday life. And I know I'm getting completely off the subject now, which is weird. But I had this conversation in a golf club. I don't play a lot of golf. But you go into a golf club now, you've got young lads that are trying to start playing golf. They can't wear a certain pair of socks. They're not allowed to put the hat on. They're not allowed to go... Oh, that's the captain's space. Things are changing.
Yeah.
How are you going to attract young golfers in? Let them wear a cap on the golf course. Let them have a beer if they want to walk around as long as they're respectful. Everyday life, at some point, things have got to change.
Mate, you're talking about golf there.
I know.
That's much slower.
Yeah.
That's.
But you know what I mean, though?
They only just started letting women into the clubs.
Well, this is what I mean, though. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is...
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
onto a
just
loser trying to get golf to change anything. But honestly, saying that, I'm same as you. I play... If my mates take me and they're patient enough to fucking wait for me because I'm shit. Yeah, but I've seen it. So when I went, you had to wear trousers and shoes had to be a certain. But they'll wear trainers now.
Yeah,
they've got golf trainers, haven't they? And it is different.
It's got it, and it just made me think the other week actually that that's been great and it's been successful for years. But before these guys were doing stuff, it had to change at some point. And I know we've just completely jumped off the subject. No, I apologise, but it's the same. You've got to at some point think how are we gonna get young people playing golf? So how are we going to keep these greens going? So how are we going to get the support for the club? You've got to change.
Yeah.
How am I going to help? And it's the same with the tiles. You've got to do something a little bit different, because if we'd have sat where we were at the time with no social media, shipping costs going up, fluctuating, Brexit, we probably wouldn't be here. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. We probably wouldn't be a business now. You've got to change.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like you just talked about with pricing, if you still worked the way that Simon was, you need more than one rep.
Absolutely, yeah.
So then your prices would need to be higher, and that rep would need to sell it for more to cover his own wage, because that's generally what I guess they try and pay for themselves, and then say, I earn more than you pay me, which is great. But yeah, if you did everything the old way, your prices would be too high.
Yeah,
and there's it's still, especially this industry, it's still everything's done the old way.
Yeah.
Even the way decisions are made, and
we've had this conversation off the podcast about
Yeah.
getting meetings with the bigger distributors that I've spent hours and hours and hours and stopping over to speak to someone who's then got to pass it through to their mate, who's then got to be spoken to by the guy above him, then them two will have a decision. And it's
new range sourcing committee.
I'd prefer to go in. Sorry, Dan, it's not for us at this moment in time. Can we revisit in Feb? Done. Next one. Gone. You know what I mean? But
the thing is, the old way of doing it, and I've been on the other side of so I've been to, and not just this industry, other industries, new product committees.
Yeah.
Where every senior person in the fucking business has to meet every other Friday to talk about a new product. Great, because you get everything, you get the logistics input, the sales input, blah, blah, blah. But one person raising one query puts that off at least another 2 weeks, at least another 2 weeks. And you have to keep going back to meetings. And really and truly, that's office life in general.
Yeah.
This might sound like bullshit because of what's happened recently, but when I worked at Bentley, I left in 2008.
Yeah.
So while I was there, and you can ask anybody who was working with me because I used to love quoting shit stats, and I still do. I've known for years, and it's proof, and it's been proven a number of times, working from home, you are more productive.
Yeah.
There's a report, there's a proper study been done,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they've done another one recently because of what's been going on. So I've known for years that the office slows everything
down.
down.
You're distracted easy. There's things that happen. There's someone that talks to you about the football. And it sounds stupid. It's good, but it's football.
Well, in my opinion, the only argument is, and this is only certain types of people. Obviously, you need to have face-to-face meetings now and again, but Zoom and what have you is making that possible. But people will argue there's a social aspect of it and the teamwork aspect of it. But what about people who don't like that?
Yeah.
Some people aren't sociable, but they're in your team, and because everybody's different.
Absolutely,
not everybody's fucking extroverts. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I haven't been involved in a bigger business since COVID, so I don't know really how all that's going. And I guess people are letting people be flexible a lot
100%,
more. Yeah, I don't know.
The amount of people I speak to now that work from home and haven't gone back since, and my next door neighbour, she does really well, works for Vodafone on the account side. She's never been back since.
Yeah.
But she says what she's doing now and the deals and things is so much better than she was when she was there.
Yeah.
So if it's working, companies aren't going to change.
It's not even an opinion. It's proof. Yeah. It's been proven. You are more productive working from home.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you work on a production line, that's not true.
Yeah.
But certain jobs, certain jobs, it's true.
Absolutely.
So from pricing to competition. So we kind of touched on competition. Tiles is extremely fucking competitive, mega.
100%,
so you're dealing with huge companies with huge marketing budgets, as we've touched on. They'll get celebrities pushing guys, and it's all. I don't want that to sound like I think it's a bad thing. By the way,
it's
great
way of them trying to sell
it's marketing.
Absolutely.
But that's your competition.
Yeah.
How do you compete with them, especially in Stoke? Stoke's not easy for tiles.
No, it isn't. And look, it's the ceramic capital of the world. It's great to be a part of still trying to do something that there's a lot of history behind. But with that, there's businesses with a lot more money, with a lot more staff that can do marketing more, that have got bigger showrooms, got bigger warehouses, and it's very difficult to compete with people. But the amount of times I have someone walk in our showroom that Tile has recommended them to come and see us, that have already been to, again, no names mentioned, but have been around 2 or 3 retail stores, that didn't get anyone from behind the counter. Have a look round, let me know if you need anything. They lost. They kind of lost. When they go walk in that showroom, they lost. They don't know what the difference between that is, what that means, why is that more than that when that looks smaller. And they walk out. Yeah. They might have wanted to buy a product. Having that person to stand and give them a little bit of their time and go through a few photos I'm not saying it doesn't matter the price, will get you that order 100%.
Yeah, it's always people. It's not a secret, it's not like I'm some retail genius, but obviously I've worked in businesses that had lots of shops, and it's always people. So if the shops, there's lots of really brilliant people that work in shops.
Yeah.
And they care a lot, and they'll speak to the customers, and they're brilliant.
Yeah.
Some of the managers look after the staff and train the staff, and they're brilliant. But you're right, a lot of shops, and it is a lot of shops because I used to visit them all the time, and including the company that I work for. You walk in, and it's like, is there anybody gonna help me out?
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
so the smaller business, like I say, I'll always go to the smaller businesses myself, and that's one of the reasons.
Absolutely.
You're probably talking to the owner.
Yeah.
Much better.
I think it's like anything though. I've always been from a young age quite confident in talking to people, enthusiastic, but sometimes a bit probably too excited at times. But I try and we've got a couple of lads there now, and I try and pass that on to them. And what you want to see is if you walk into it, you want to see someone with a smile on their face, enthusiastic about what they're doing, passionate about what they're doing. You buy into that. You can feel that passion coming from them. And I don't know, it works. You just, people buzz off that. They want to...
Well, it's having the knowledge is the big one.
Yeah.
Of what you're talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because some people might fall for it and some people might. If you're just really good at sales, that won't work on me personally.
Yeah.
But if you know what you're on about and I can ask you some questions and you're good at sales, you could probably get me then.
And and the honesty aspect where people will put a tile next to another one, you can look at it as most salesmen just get the sale. That's not, in my opinion, I wouldn't. That's not going to work. That's going to clash with that. What I would look at, and you'll be surprised how many people you'll take completely away from the tile that they were looking at buying. You show them a few pictures, explain why you've pointed them in that will go ahead on your word and buy it.
It's still hard even when you're in the shop because loads of retail customers, they need some kind of inspiration. So that's why you get these big inspirational imagery online and in the shops. But even then, it's really difficult. Even when you've got a little bay in front of you, it's really difficult to picture that for some people in your bathroom.
Yeah.
So you do want some guidance. And I got it myself a good few years ago now, but the guy that sold me the tiles for our bathroom, he put them together for me. They weren't together in the shop.
Yeah.
He said to me, and he was a good lad, and he was like, listen, this probably go with that, use this colour grout, blah, blah. Yeah. And he was right, and a lot of people need that guidance.
Yeah.
If you don't give it to them, it's unless they know they want some really basic white tiles.
Yeah.
If they're spending serious money,
absolutely,
they won't spend it if you're not helping them. So,
I don't look at for people that are probably listening or that know me personally. I'm a very about life, about today, about giving everything I can, waking up in the morning, being thankful. You're one of them kind of people, thankful I'm alive, thankful I'm still on this earth, I've got a roof over my head. And I'm a deep kind of person when it comes to anything in life. And I get inspired by so many people that have done stuff from nothing or they've taken a risk they are the kind of people that I want to, buy from, to work with, to support, to see do well. And I think you can only do so much yourself or pass on your personal things that have maybe happened in your personal life that have made you the way you are or stuff. And I think there's a massive thing behind that. And I think people buy into that person as well. And I think if you can come across with the right information, the right, answer the right questions, and I don't know.
Well, you're feeding it through your business as well, because you can. So you've how many lads have you got at your place now?
We've got Wayne, who's a business partner now. Then you've got Alex, Jack, Laura. There's four of us. We've got a guy that deals at home on the shipping side of things. That's it, because the majority of our business is tiles dropped off on a container, put in the warehouse, picked back on a container, sent out.
Yeah, it's not that easy, by the way.
No, it's not that easy.
There's a lot of shit in between all that.
Makes it sound great, but no, you're right. It's not easy.
Yeah, there's a lot involved in between all that, what you just said. Yeah, so outside of work, what do you do outside of it, mate? You've already told us a little bit. You sing, you present bare knuckle fucking boxing.
The wife always says to me, you get yourself into some mad situations. But outside of work, still doing a little bit of singing, open mic nights and stuff. Really enjoying the bare knuckle, that side of things, working with footballers, comparing. And funnily enough, next Saturday I'm actually singing at a ball at Keele Hall in front of 300 people as the Greatest Showman. So opening that show, which is a ball that we do every year. So there's never a dull weekend with me supporting my football team. Stoke, massive Stoke fan.
Oh, mate, come on! I know that. So I know football. Right? Yeah. I was purposely not bringing football up.
Yeah, well, I don't.
It's horrible at the moment.
It is horrible, and again, being a part of something with Stoke since a young lad.
I know it's important to you.
And my dad's
I'm not joking.
good friends with Lee Macari, ex-players. We've always had a connection within the family with Stoke, and I'm a very passionate Stoke fan. So I can easily spend another 3 hours talking about Stoke now. But at the minute, what is wrong? To keep it very brief, good manager, good owners. I don't care what anyone says. They've been very supportive. There's just a massive shake-up needed within the squad of people that actually care about the club, that the shirt they're wearing. There's probably, I handpicked at the weekend, if I was to look forward to next season, there was 8 players that I can see with a future that care. The rest, either they don't cut it or they shouldn't be there, in my opinion.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is.
I'm not as close to it as you are, but I see that squad. They've got no excuse at all.
Absolutely no.
Good squad there.
Good squad, wrong attitude. That's it. There's players there that...
Very few people give a shit about Stoke who are listening, mate.
Oh, well, I know, yeah. I'm sure Sam will be here.
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Touching himself in areas because we're not talking about Newcastle.
Yeah. So the future of the business, what's... have you got any... I know it must be really difficult because you probably did, and then COVID and all that crap.
We've had, look, I'm not lying. I've had a very stressful, and still now sleepless nights, worrying about things. Brexit, COVID, shipping costs for the last 18 months from Asia have been the worst it's ever been. Ridiculous. Yeah. But thankfully, this last month they've dropped down to what they were 18 months ago, which was needed massively. So it's been challenging. We've had to work with a few other UK companies and work with each other to make sure that we can't lose sales and we can still continue to move forward. At the minute, it's a case of balancing things out, getting on a level where we're comfortable again. Because, like I say, it's been difficult, and for anyone to say it's not. It's any business, not just us, but. So moving forward, we want to keep bringing in more ranges. We want to grow the ranges that we do, but not over the top. Probably from our point of view, it's probably getting in. There's so many more developers and builders out there that we're not close to that we need to pick up on. But maybe more warehouse space in the future. Do we need branches all over the country? No, I don't think at the minute that is something that we would do. But what we could do maybe is look at more warehousing space locally, that we could bring more ranges in it and distribute from Stoke-on-Trent. TikTok account, virtual reality. Just build on what you've already been. I'll give you all the business advice you need. Okay, mate, don't worry. That's absolutely fine, mate. Yeah, so that you fucking shipping costs have come down, but at the same time, exchange rates are. Yeah, there's always something against you. The other way, it's like always something against you, and it's I think from day one. I remember having 6 containers on the water. And then overnight, Brexit was announced. For those 6 containers we buy in dollars. Done. No profit, nothing, gone. 6 containers. And it's simple stuff like that. Is how many times can you get back up and keep going? Having the right attitude. Realising now, I've learned that why lie awake at night for stuff that you can't control? It's business at the end of the day. I know it sounds really, what's it? As long as I've always got a roof over my head, my family are well, I've got friends around me, it's business, and things can change so quickly. And I think it's realising that what will be will be. Yeah. You fight, you keep working at what you can, and that's the same with me, mate. That it sounds like a cliche, but you're right. And it's hard sometimes to explain, like to your family or your missus or whoever. Like that is the most important thing. Absolutely. To be a roof over your head. Absolutely. And it sounds so cliche, but it's true. And your family, and then everything else. And I've been through all this myself. Yeah. Same period, I lost my job and all the rest of it. So not having a holiday or not having a car, as nice a car, I honestly don't give a shit anymore. No. And then the holiday thing is hard because, like, saying to your missus, like, we still go somewhere. Yeah, I mean, we went to a caravan in Wales. It doesn't matter. Though. I'm one of them. It's the people you're with. But it's hard, and it is hard. Yeah. And I think that it stresses people out, and it can get to you. And again, I'll put this thing into my perspective as exactly what you've just said. I lost a mate a lad who I knew, buried him last week, took his own life, 35, and I've seen it happen with 6 or 7 mates. I get quite emotional. 6 or 7 mates over the last so many years, and I think to myself, why stress over work? Why stress over the little things in life? there is so much more out there, and we get drawn into these moments and business and sleepless nights, and it's not the be all and end all of everything.
Yeah.
Life's too short. You know what I mean?
I've had exactly the same, mate, not
Yeah.
so long ago. Another lad, he was 40. It happens a weirdly high amount going on at the moment.
It is, and
it's like, I know what you're saying. You're not saying to them, don't stress, because
absolutely, you can't.
What they're going through is like,
you
fuck
can't
all. Fuck all that we can understand.
Absolutely, you can't change what people's moods. Yeah, absolutely.
For us to stress about a holiday,
yeah,
or a car, or whatever, it's like, come on.
Exactly.
There's much bigger things to worry about, like your mates.
Yeah.
If any of your mates are struggling like that, it's I'm trying to get someone on, actually, a professional who can actually. I'm not in a position to be able to give people advice.
No, none of us are. Absolutely not. No.
But I'm trying to get. I've asked a lady to come on and talk about it, because you do see a lot of it. It's not good.
It isn't, and it's worse. But like, I know we've gone off the subject again, but what I'm saying is, things are tough. Business is tough. Anyone running a business, whether it's a small shop and it's your own and you're passionate about it, you'll have ups and downs. I'll have times where I've questioned why I ever did this. I'll walk on the canal at night with the dogs thinking I could just be a rep in a car. But then again, if I'm lying on my deathbed one day, I can lie there and think I took the opportunities. But what will be will be. You've got to. If things go wrong, how can you put it right? If things are against you, well, you've always got to find something to move forward.
Oh man, exactly the same for me. It's difficult, but yeah. Do you know what the very worst case scenario? And this isn't fucking business advice, by the way. This is just me. Yeah. I'm different than a lot of other people. I'll keep trying to do what I'm doing. Yeah. If it works, it works. If this podcast is a good example, I'm doing it. Yeah. Because I've always thought, that'd be a good idea. Absolutely, I'll do that. Yeah. If it doesn't work, this is a low cost example. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It fucking stops being existent. But the business side of things, so I've had a couple of years of pain or more pain, as I've just explained. But I think I kind of knew that was going to happen. Yeah. And the very worst case scenario, and if anybody wants to this is kind of my advice, but it's from me. It might not work for someone else.
From your personal experience.
Worst case, absolute worst case scenario, I'll go and get a job.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I could have done that a couple of years ago and had a comfortable couple of years, gone on holiday, Mrs. happy, but then not done the thing that I've always had an itch to do. Yeah. And it's massively risky, hugely risky, especially with everything that's going on at the moment. But very worst case scenario.
You've always got a job to walk into.
Well, I haven't.
No, but
I just have to go and get one.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying
it's like I'll do anything. Do you know what I mean?
Of course,
I'll go and get a job somewhere, and it's like, so what? Your car's not as nice anymore, but it's like you're willing to do that for, hopefully, in the future. You do. Yeah. It's like whatever. It's like, and things like that, mate. I mean, cars are a good example, right? Don't let material shit stress you out, right? Because I had two cars, and they were both company cars. Yeah. One was mine, and one was some salary sacrifice thing. And they're nice, brand new car, however often you got them. So obviously, when I was made redundant, you have to get rid of your cars. Yeah. You have to give them back. And then you have to. So we were just going to say, shall we just buy one car? Yeah, yeah. We bought one nice car. But then I was like, actually, you need fucking two cars. Yeah. But then I've got no money. It's all gone in the business.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I've bought that car out there. Is a 2005 Skoda Fabia, right? So when I bought it, I was like, oh. But I knew it was like a run around.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just need it if I need it.
Just what you need it to do. Yeah.
But what it's made me realise is I don't give a shit about cars. Yeah, yeah. I'll keep that fucking car when I've got money. I don't care anymore.
Can you get home? Can you get to your family?
It's all like. Yeah. Material things that you don't need to worry about.
Absolutely, yeah. That people do, unfortunately.
Yeah, far too much. Yeah. Social media, mate, does it for you.
Well, it is. There's a good side of social media and there's a really bad side of social media. And it's that, half the time I'll flip through my Facebook getting wound up with what I'm seeing. But then I can't turn my Facebook off because it helps me so much. So it's
exactly. It's your business.
It's a difficult balance,
Just social media is 99% bullshit.
Of course it is.
The business side and the adverts that you see, that's just a genuine business doing an advert. Yeah. But when it's other people, you might have your family that you love or whatever. Yeah. But most of the time, whether the people admit it or not, it's like it's a fashion show or showing off. And people say, oh, but I like seeing this person. It's like, yeah, you do, but what you're doing is you're looking at your friends doing this thing that you're happy for. You're happy for you, but what you're doing is you're comparing yourself to them.
Absolutely, and then straight away
it's
you go,
like, what you doing?
well, we've never been on holiday there, so can we stretch our budget next year? And
just don't
absolutely,
worry. You don't know what else is going on.
No.
There's all sorts of shit. A photo or a 10-second video on Facebook isn't real.
Yeah.
It's nice, and it might be your friend and you're happy for them, but stop trying to think like, oh, we could go there.
Yeah.
We should do that with our kids.
It happens, mate, and
everybody's got the same.
Unfortunately, it's going to get worse. So.
Yeah. Well, I think we've covered everything, mate.
Perfect.
If do you want to tell people how they can get hold of you to
yeah, so obviously
buy
those
some towels off you?
Yeah, those that are already on the Midland Trade page. We're on Facebook, Midland Trade Towel Supply. We've got a website under construction now. I know a lot of people keep asking us about our website. I think jumping straight in on the videos and that didn't really give me enough time to think about building a website at the time, and it was working. But we understand now that there's people want to go on and click, so we are going to be building a website for next year so people can put their customers on. Probably won't, because they want to buy themselves and make a bit of money, which
they can ring you then.
Absolutely,
so they can send your customer, if a tradesman, send your customer to the website.
Yeah. That's it. They can have a look.
Let me get that for you.
Well, to be fair, absolutely. But even on there, we haven't got to put any pricing on it. It's just a nice website that they can go on, click on a tile, look at a picture, narrow range. Oh, we saw this tile, we like that, and so that's something we're going to be doing. Obviously, the office 01782 is the office number. Always ring us. We've got someone there to answer the phone. Messenger, WhatsApp, call me. I was dealing.
I'll put all this in the details of the podcast.
Absolutely, and like I say, I like to think that I'm very flexible. I was dealing with people yesterday afternoon on a Sunday. I'll always try and pick the phone up. But like I say, keep an eye out for the website coming up, and just keep. I know people say, "Have you got a brochure?" Again, it's difficult because brochures change so much. Lines get dropped, things change. I just find it easier.
Hard to do a brochure.
Absolutely, it is hard.
Expensive as well.
And if you can keep anyone on that page, I know sometimes people, I have to flick through your pictures. That's when I'll say, what video do you need? What are you looking at? Let me narrow it down on a quick WhatsApp video. Yeah. So again, the brochure, I'm not sure. Website, definitely. But yeah, just keep an eye out on the page.
Virtual reality walkthrough as well. That's coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that'll be coming very soon, yeah.
Cool, mate. Thank you very much.
All right, cheers for
Bye.
that, mate.
Ta-ta.